what we love. Risk would follow, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkest skies, the champions of the world that we defy. So bright, but the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last fight.
Welcome, everybody, for another night of VCS action brought to you by VCS English. My name is Everyday. With me, as always, are the men with the brains. It's Yulwei and Vinnie. How are we tonight, boys?
Yeah, not too bad.
All right.
I think we've recovered from last night's debacle.
Yeah.
Have you actually caught some sleep, my Australian friends?
You'd hope so, considering it's been nearly 24 hours. I went to bed pretty quick after that. It took me a couple hours to work through what we watched, so I didn't have nightmares.
Fair enough.
I mean, I woke up tilted from last night.
It was weird. It was weird. When I woke up, I was at a 45-degree angle, but it was better than the 90 I went to bed at.
Yeah, it's
very uncomfortable.
It's been at least 8 hours since then, so we're
good to hear. That's good to hear.
Well, let's crack on. We do have another day of games for you. We are starting off with EVS taking on OPG, but we've got a few things to talk about before that, just more general things. Do you want to start off with talking about some of the things we expect to see? Because we have a couple of champions with still 100% presence. Or highest presence, I should say. Not 100%. We do have one champion with 100%.
Yeah. We have one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite surprising that Syndra is still sitting this high up. I really thought the nerfs would impact her more, but truly not the case. And all the regions we've seen 10-13 be played, she has still been a priority pick, and she's continuing to dominate this league. 80% win rate. I want to point out Thresh's win rate too. Look at that. 11 picks, 81.8%. That is insane. We have some very good Thresh players here. Of course, Slay comes to mind, CBL comes to mind, but even the newer supports like Hin and Zin are very good in that term.
That they are.
Yeah, and it's and I'm glad to see that Karma has sort of fallen down a little bit in terms of her contested. She's still at 5th, which is a bit, again, questionable, but it's fallen off, and I don't expect I expect that to continue falling as time goes on. Okay. One champion that isn't mentioned there, probably because he's not the highest presence, is Bard, who still has.
If he's not the highest presence, he wouldn't make it onto the highest presence graphic. Thank you, Vinnie.
Yeah, he's not the highest presence. Shush. He's had.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's had quite a few games played.
Yes.
And he has a ridiculously high win rate. If I can actually find it, because it's so disappeared. Yeah, he's had 10 games played, and he's sitting at a 90% win rate. So
that's insane.
That's insane. Yeah. And I think yesterday was the first loss we saw on Bard, with percent losing to Team Secret in Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think our Bard players are very, very good at him, but his presence is never going to be ultra high because not everyone plays him. He's a bit of a weird champion like that. Cracking swiftly on, of course, we can have a look at our standings. So we have a look at that. It is, of course, Cerberus clear out the front. But I didn't know we were casting the OPL, because this is a bit of an Australian standings if you look at where we predicted things to be. It's all upside down.
Oh, man. Yeah, EVS wanted to be at one end of the standings at this point, but not this end. 0 and 4 so far. Everyone has played 4 series, and Zeros hasn't been able to win a single one. So today's their chance. They're playing against the second to last team, and we are moving into Champion Select to see if EVS can finally win a series.
That we are. We're moving swiftly forward. Nidalee and Renekton are the bands. What else do we expect tonight, boys?
So Zin, as we said before, Bard players are very good, and Zin is one of our Bard players. He was a massive. His Bard was a massive part of their win against Saigon Buffalo, which is their only win of the season so far. And so if Overpower wants to grab a second one, I think that should probably be a much higher priority pick for them.
Yeah, I don't feel like you have to ban the Bard though. Even though Xin is a very strong support and Bard has been very strong, there's still Thresh as well. So I feel like banning support in first rotation would be a little bit of a worry. You don't really have to do that unless that's a really, really strong specialist coming in. Instead, the Kalista is open. Evo's instantly locking that one in. I don't mind that. 𝗘𝗏𝗃𝗧 is a very good laner. Giving Kalista, potentially with something like Thresh to pair it with, should give him a good opportunity to carry this game for his team.
This would be interesting.
That's
That
not
would
going to
also
happen
be
this early.
interesting. That's a lot more standard and a lot more boring. But so we're gonna have a VolleyBear and a set. This seems to be a very standard first rotation on that side.
Yesterday, FlyQuest against EG, these two champs together, definitely instilled a lot of funny situations. Or they were diving into the backline together. It looked like tag team. So I think every day is going to have a good time here with two wrestling-like champions.
Oh, absolutely! I'm loving the two bears. People who get it. Don't worry. Moving swiftly on.
Yep.
Thresh,
I get
it. I'm glad to do. I don't think Yulwei does, but I'm not going to explain it. As Ezreal is the lock in here to round out the first phase of picks. We don't have any complete bot lanes at the moment. Yuumi could still pop up.
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
We have a Kalista Thresh on the side of EVS.
I thought that was a different champ for some reason. So I'm just going to go back to muting my mic. You guys crack on.
So actually against the Kalista, I would have liked to see an Ashe because, as we all know, slows cripple Kalista, and having slows on demand that you can't miss. And here's the second rotation Bard ban, which is very good. It shuts down the massive amounts of poke that lane can bring.
But I actually think Ezreal is quite good into Kalista late game because of his Iceborne Gauntlet, and Kalista still struggles big time against him. Once she closes the gap, he already has a big HP advantage, and then he also comes in with 150 armor. So in the late game, I really, really like Ezreal into Kalista. Early on, it's going to be a hard one. I would like to see him paired with. I actually think Yuumi is fine here. Just go Yuumi. Yuumi also very good together with VolleyBear in the late game. So I feel like even though she got nerfed, I would probably still draft her here for Overpower and just try to sack bot lane, try to play weak side. Maybe lose 20 CS. Who cares? It's Ezreal. He's going to scale.
I think you could also go for the Lulu pick, which was hovered before, and that gives you
Lulu Ezreal. Nah.
Got a bit of a zoo here.
As a Lulu player, I don't like that. I mean, compositionally, it would be fine. It would be very dangerous in bot lane, though. Lulu into Thresh Kalista. I think they need some magic damage here. This is going to be set support and some magic damage mid laner, most likely, for PhD looking at this composition. Okay, we're going to get another crack at that one.
This was probably the champion Zeros did best on. He got hammered in lane, but he actually redeemed himself a little bit going forward. There's the Syndra. She retains 100% presence.
He fell down
I'm
very,
very surprised that she came in late.
I just kind of assumed she was banned.
No, not that again. Oh, he looked so bad on the egg. Oh my, no. Okay, he was going to win the series. Man, OPG's drafting was so good in the first 2 weeks, and now they're having this weird echo illusion. Like someone taught a PhD that he can play echo, but he can't. No. Oh man, I hate it.
It's PhD doesn't have very many. You don't think of many AP champions in PhD's wheelhouse, and I think the echo sort of falls into his playstyle a little bit more than most other champions would. And I mean,
Rice was good.
Yeah, true. And I mean, in theory, it sort of should outscale. It should add to the fact that the comp would outscale, but yeah, it's if 𝗘𝗀𝗽𝗏 can put up performance like he did yesterday in the one game he got to play, it shouldn't make a difference at all.
The outscaling point for Echo is something that is also often mischaracterized, where people just say, "Oh, it's Echo, he outscales," but he has to be executed well to outscale. He is very hard to play in a pro game. So
I will say, to back my boy Echo up, one thing I do like about him is every item's a power spike. It does give you a lot of points of pressure because every item Echo completes is a pretty significant power spike. You're right.
Problem is the enemy team has a lot of champs that also fall into that category, right? We have Syndra, she gets stronger with each item. The same for 𝗘𝗀𝗧𝗏, especially for the first 2 and 3 items, where she's power spikes on every single one, big time. So it's going to be hard for OPG to weather the storm of the early game in this game.
Yeah, that it is. But Vinny, you know what I'm about to say. It is time for you to give us your last little sign-off and a prediction. Who's going to take it, EVOS or OPG?
I think EVOS has pretty much drafted a much more comfortable composition for themselves. It should be a lot easier to execute. And again, if 𝗘𝗀𝗏 can put up performances like he did yesterday, same with 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗏𝗏, I don't think Xeros is going to be a huge factor, even if he runs it down. So, yeah, I'm going to go with EVOS for this game.
All right, well, thank you. We're predicting EVOS to finally get some wins. Of course, they have won a few games. Let's see if they can finally win a match. Yulwei, it's just going to be me and you now. And where are you looking your eyes? What lane are you locking your eyes onto?
Top lane, for sure. Not only because I'm a top laner, but also because I really like this matchup. I like to...
You're a support.
I've played more top lane this season for sure. Yeah, I really like to watch Wukong lanes and Wukong counter lanes to see if the counter actually works out. Wukong is such a strong champion. We just saw in the loading screen, I think, 80-something% win rate in this lake. He has really come in handy for most teams. Very strong teamfight presence, of course. First Limbs is in bot lane, where B is waiting for his first grab to land. But yeah, this top lane should be interesting again. Yesterday, Azeros got wrecked in the early game on the Hecarim counter pick. I want to see if he can do a little bit better. He still had a big CS lead, so in terms of 1v1 laning, he did fine. He just overextended and got killed in ganks.
Yeah, which is unfortunate for sure. See if he can clean that one up. It'll be interesting, as we do see he has decent lane positioning early on, but in the first few levels, the trades pretty well there. I was about to say in the first few levels the trades should still go Wukong's way, but apparently not.
Yeah, trading in wave for Hecarim level 2 is very, very good, because you get all the extra HP back with the W. We actually saw first item Executioner's Calling coming in from Wukong yesterday. I was very surprised by that, but for me, Hecarim doesn't really stand out as a champ that you need to build hero reduction early on against, but maybe in this matchup you actually do. So I'm glued to Vin's itemization.
Oh,
nice one.
Sorn, that was so cheeky. He just walks in and hits a smite for once. Nicks the big raptor. DK is upset
Sorn is on
about
the
that
hunt.
one, and Sorn does not want to stop. He knows he has top lane priority, so he can actually go for this fight here. He absolutely decimates DK in the health. Wait, 𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏's going really low. What the hell is going on? Sorn isn't stopping, but Vin has got him low. Sorn fails the flash and goes down. Vin will follow, and it ends up with Xeros with the buffs, but 𝗘𝗏𝗏's been solo killed.
Pure chaos again. We are back to the EVOS game. We also have to take into consideration, we didn't really have time to talk about that. They played yesterday until 11 p.m. So this is a very, very strange scheduling once again working out for VCS, where they have to be back in the arena for the first series. So they might still be a little bit tired or exhausted from yesterday. We expect a lot of action to happen. Let's see how the solo kill happened in mid lane. Yeah, I mean, 𝗘𝗏𝗏 takes the fight into PhD, who is a level ahead and full mana. So Wow, that was super. That was a lot of confidence for PhD. He knew exactly how much damage he could deal. He waved that flag way before Parker went down. That's
he
good.
did.
That's good to see.
Yeah, PhD's a very confident player. Hasn't really paid off with success.
Oh
yet,
god, this wave
but
positioning.
Vin,
Oh my.
Oh no, Vin's in all of the trouble. This monkey, I don't think he's going to be happy. That is a dead one. And 𝗳𝗏 looks even bigger. We might finally have a 𝗳𝗏 game. And look at the bot lane. There's already one kill that's happened. Xin goes down. Vit follows. The teleport comes in. PHT's arrived. 𝗘𝗀𝗲𝗏 very low. He'll go down to PHT. That's a 450 gold shutdown. Whew.
Across the map. I have no idea where Vin's clone went in the gank. It's so easy to escape Trundle ganks normally for Wukong.
Let's have a look at this
Let's see
replay
what
first.
Xin did.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, he just gets grabbed into the turret, tries to flash Haymaker, but 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏 is aware of his damage, and now it's just Ezreal without mana against 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏. That's not a good fight. That's not a fight you want to
bad
take.
Flash.
Yeah, that too. At least PhD gets another kill. He's very far ahead now, but all his side lanes are struggling big time. So, okay, Vin once again caught out. There's the W. This is what should have happened in the gank.
I think it was on cooldown from a trade.
Oh, that's very good capitalization of cooldowns. 𝗂𝗏 is level 6. This should be possible with W on cooldown. Xin is only level 4.
I think they
don't
𝗳𝗏
fancy
get
the dive.
reset. I think they
Interesting.
want to let 𝗳𝗏 get the reset, get some items, get his sheen. Because now if they do go for the dive, Wukong just explodes.
So much happening in this game. I wanted to touch on so much more, but there's no time for that. So let's look at the CS numbers in top lane. And that is a very good sign for EVS.
Yeah.
It's finally 𝗂𝗏's time. 𝗂𝗏's time to shine and carry. And I just did my dishes, and there was no 𝗂𝗏 in my sink. So I think he's fine today.
Oh, he's not in the washing up. That's good. Hopefully he can come out of the cupboard and get something done. DK tries to make a move to the bot side, but this Volibear at the moment has still been not overly useful.
This is a little bit of a trend we've seen this week in VCS. Volibear jungle hasn't really done much. Most of the time he gets kited in the back in the late game and doesn't just dice in team fights, especially if he's just even or even behind in jungle. So I feel like Volibear jungle is a little bit overvalued right now. We see him fight once again.
There we go. He wants to go in on Sorn. He gets the smite. He gets the red, and the pillar drops just in time for him to run. 𝗂𝗏 is coming. He's obviously on the heck room. He's fast, but not fast enough.
And DK has to fight for every single in his jungle against the troll that is constantly invading him.
I think EVS, because we will say we have a little bit of insight into some of the community. EVS fans were not happy with Sorn after yesterday. He copped a lot of shit.
Rightfully so.
Some of it was undeserved. He particularly got a lot of shit for a Baron call where he didn't smite, but it wasn't his fault. He didn't actually have smite. He copped a lot for that. That's not his fault. And also, I don't encourage just going after players on personal level because it got pretty bad. I'm sure you don't either, but regardless, moving on. I think Sorn, he's here to prove something. And he's been
so far a very unfortunate season for him, or split, I should say. The spring season or spring split was very, very promising for Sorn. He had a lot of his usual mistakes, of course. He also had insane pop-off games. So far in summer, has looked very uncoordinated. His smites have been off, even though yesterday the one smite at Baron wasn't his fault, as you said. He didn't have smite to begin with. He missed some other smites against Flash anyway, so for sure one of the weaknesses for EVS right now is objective. And we have a little bit of a fight around first Urshel. Sorn wanted to sneak that one with the pink board invested, but now OPG has more members, so this might once again be the typical VCS Herald, where one team starts and the other one gets it.
We'll have to find out, as there is the Volibear ult. He's unleashing the 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏. He goes low. I'm not sure who secured it. Sorn has gotten the kill, though. They're trying to bop them away. It has to be OPG that got the eye, because they're able to pick it up. There it is. Sorn now dead. Cyclone being used. This is an absolute chaos in the pit. PHT flashing away, and I think Vin might be left to sacrifice, but he'll get a kill on the way out. And it's a 3 for 3 in the end. A triple kill for 𝗂𝘅. Oh boy.
5-0. He has finally arrived at the EVOS house. He has finally gotten some of his confidence back. And there we go. Counter pick top lane for EVOS. They have tried to give 𝗂𝘅 the counter pick a few times this season already. But it hasn't really worked too much. So this is a very good game for EVOS fans. Of course, they are playing against OPG, the worst team in the league. Or together with EVOS, you could say. So we have a look. How did this all happen? DK tries to jump in, but he immediately gets focused and ignited. So he's not a very, very scary bear. Looking like a koala again. Both junglers go down, but Sawn has done his job. And with 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗍𝗬 arriving, he actually buys so much time with his ultimate and be re-engaging on Vin. He still goes down, of course, with the Vin. Vin still has a lot of base damages on this Wukong. But overall, a big fight victory. 3 more kills for 𝗂𝘅, and now it's super hard for Vin to even try to go to this lane, because 𝗂𝘅 on these items with Ignite, which will be available in a minute or two, can just solo kill him very easily.
He just one-shots him. This Wukong's in a lot of trouble. OPG is going to try and have round 2 of an objective. They're on the 𝗘𝗪𝗃, and it looks like this one will go down easy enough, and we head to a mountain rift.
2 dragons for OPG, and looking at the gold total, it's actually not as bad as expected after all the kills went down. It's still 8-6, and they have 2 dragons. So there is a world where OPG can come back, especially against EVOS, who's one of the worst teams when it comes to closing out games. They only secured 2 game victories so far. Vin is in a lot of trouble.
He is, but he's going to hit the clone, but then there's a pillar, there's a pony, and there's an unleashed power. This isn't a particularly
This might
good
actually
trade,
cost
though.
them a lot with OPG. OPG got 4 plates in the mid lane already, and PhD should be able to push this down. So full first turret gold over to PhD, who's already a big threat. 1 item secured already.
Ooh, he's in
Doesn't
a
have
lot of
flash,
trouble,
so
though.
might
He's
here.
just absolutely dead. He might press R to buy some time as DK's coming in, but I don't think there's any saving this Echo. I'm completely wrong, as he is going to turn back time, and no, he goes down in the end. And DK has to jump away. And now, the teleport, round 2, ding, 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 and oh, no, Vin calls it off, come on.
Oh, that was the saddest teleport ever for the top lane Wukong. He realized the strongest member of his team is dead, so you probably shouldn't fight here. Of course, PhD has teleport available, so if they want to have round 2, he's the one they have to wait for. Still, it's...
Ooh, that's ridiculous that still hits.
It got ignited. 𝗂𝘅 can get...
That is a weird interaction there. 𝗂𝘅 doesn't pull the trigger, realizes that 1-for-1 is bad. He's right. It's 500 gold shutdown on his head.
Yeah, he's a very, very big shutdown now. And he actually is not that hard to kill, especially if he commits to a kill, because as long as he has his ult available, of course, he can just ult away. But once he commits the ult to go in, he doesn't have a flash to get out, so he's not the most tanky member ever, with going Trinity and then probably Death Stance now second item. He might be a target for OPG to attack, and if they get the shutdown, they are right back in this game, right at probably even gold. So it's still quite risky for EVOS, even though they have secured a nice gold lead to start with.
Absolutely. They need to keep on executing. And PhD is still someone to be scared of. Vin, it has to be said, has secured 3 kills in the chaos, so he's still very, very far behind 𝗂𝘅, but he's not actually too far behind a normal game, despite his farm being honestly atrocious, again, because of how far behind he is in his lane matchup, as he is 1,700 gold down in the direct matchup. Oof.
Yeah, I need to criticize him a little bit for some of the farming he has done, because some of his wave management had actually... led to his demise. Think back to the second time they ganked him in top lane. The 𝗂𝘅 created a freeze there, and Vin basically pushed the wave into him for 𝗂𝘅 to be able to create the freeze there. So Vin had to overextend to catch the wave. They capitalized on his mistakes. So his wave management, not the greatest this game. I feel like definitely has to learn some more about wave management. This is a new player, of course.
13.5 minute rifle.
Yeah, it's a very, very strong one. 𝗂𝘅 is super, super strong. He can be used as an engage tool. As I said before, giving up the shutdown is a little bit annoying right now, because You want him in the back line, but if you give up the shutdown, if you overdive, maybe you actually help OPG back into the game, especially if the shutdown goes over to someone like in PhD or Vit. Vit would even be better, I feel like. So I like that they put him in the side lane right now. 𝗘𝗀𝗄𝗏 is not the greatest champion at applying side lane pressure because it's not super easy for him to kill the enemy, especially under turret. Doesn't really have the greatest dive. But he should be able to shred turrets.
From this far ahead, I think he's got a pretty good dive.
But you saw him not trying to kill Vin there, and some other champs on 5-0 would just threaten the dive into most top laners. So it's not like a 5-0 Camille or a 5-0, you could say, Renekton. This champion is much more about team fighting. He's not that great of a side laner.
Yeah. As now the second Rift Herald, this one will not be contested. EVOS will pick this one up. Nice and easy. They give it over to Sorn, of course. Where will they choose to drop it? Where can OPG fight to try and get back in lead?
It's all about dragons for them. And you can see they have established a very good vision line around the dragon. So that one will spawn soon. They might even choose to give up this mid lane turret. EVOS with very good timing on the Rift Herald. This should give them full mid priority and should enable them to move into river and contest the dragon vision to stop the dragon snowball.
Yep, I don't think they'll quite give up the mid lane. They don't have to. The Rift Herald charge didn't do as much as I sort of expected to. But they are just going to rotate to Dragon. OPG, are you
now
really
EVOS
fighting on this one? Would take
I think they should try to steal, but not fight.
Well, I don't think they're going to go for that. PHT is charging and he's found 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏, the instant flash into the Fate's Call, but the volley bear is dead, and 𝗂𝗏 has called in the boys across the entire team, and he's out here looking like Far Lap running down the Melbourne Cup, as he's got a triple kill, and all of OPG, bar Vit, have been wiped out, and the dragon secured, and EVOS is here to win.
They absolutely are. They are here to show everyone they are still a team to be feared. And sometimes, I mean, we are only 4 series in. They still have 10 to go. They could still go 10-4. They are not out of players yet. And sometimes getting one turnaround victory can revitalize teams and send them on a big winning streak. This one was just foolish for OPG. Why would you try to fight into 𝗂𝗏 right now? 𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏 also very, very strong. And this choke point is a super good fighting point for 𝗘𝗏𝗏 and the Trundle as well. So regardless of their power level, they can contribute a lot. Look at all the balls flying around from 𝗘𝗏𝗏, holding the space and stunning everyone. But 𝗂𝗏, the main contributor there, it's perfect for 𝗘𝗀𝗏. He was 5-0, now he's 8-0, or working on his second item, while his enemy top laner hasn't even completed his first. I feel like this game is very closely, very soon approaching over territory, even though we're still only looking at 4K gold lead.
Yeah, it is only the 4K gold lead, which is honestly surprising. I would have thought it'd be much more. But as you know, I've been saying to everyone that 𝗂𝗏 is still good. I've been his biggest supporter this split. Well, I mean...
Liar.
Complete lies. I mean, it is only one game. I'm not going to turn around and say 𝗂𝗏 is back after one very good performance on a counter pick. However, and against the projected worst team in the league. So he's not back yet, but this has got to be a good bit of shot of confidence at least. He's got to feel better about himself after a game like this where he's 8-0 on 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏.
DK is caught by Sorn. Sorn going very aggressive here.
Ooh, DK flashing away, but Sorn's still on the chase. Vit is still a frightening enough Ezreal that they do back off.
It's quite surprising to see this much of a jungle experience disadvantage for DK, considering they are almost even in CS. I feel like DK probably got a lot of lane minions to share. Sorry?
He's 9 extra assists.
Yeah, but assisted kills don't really give that much experience anymore. So it's a little bit surprising to me that it's a 2-level gap. I would expect a 1-level gap or something. But Sorn is super strong right now. And his Trundle has looked like one of his best champs. Same, of course, goes for 𝗂𝗏 on 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏. He looked quite good in the mid game yesterday. His early game was not the greatest. Today, he actually started the game off well and is now also looking good in the mid game. Very aggressive build. There is still the risk of him overdiving and giving up a 700 gold shutdown to someone like Asriel to turn the game around. So they still have to be careful about that. He is a pretty squishy Hecarim. He deals an unbelievable amount of damage, though.
He does have that death stance, so he's not too squishy, and in the middle of a team fight, Hecarim gets a lot of healing. And of course, he's fairly slippery, so I think Zeros will be okay, but will PHT? That's the question. He rolls away, the teleport's been called, uses the parallel convergence, gets the shield, and now everyone else has a rise. 4v3 around this top side. OPG still just run.
Look at Zeros on the minimap. He's trying to go for the assassination on Xin.
Yeah, we
look at
have
Zin's
to have
HP
a look.
bar.
Zin's HP is dropping, and I think this horse has found something to chew on. No! Vit gets out on no health at all, throws the True Shot Barrage. Doesn't quite hit. Sorn on the hunt, and will be able to chomp him down, and now OPG are collapsing. They get one back. Zin very low. PHT on the run. Hunted by Sorn. Double kill for 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗍. And oh my word, I think EVOS might have this one. Ooh, Sorn didn't have that one. He does die. But it's looking pretty good for EVOS regardless.
Was feeling absolutely invincible this game. Not quite the case, as we can see. Still able to be shut down by the only real threat for OPG. Also, he hasn't really built too much MR before going back now. So, yeah, it makes sense that that PhD can actually kill him. Yeah, this is just too much of an advantage in terms of items and early power, also from the scaling of champions, to fight for OPG. They are constantly trying to, or opting into fights they really shouldn't. Vid made it out of there, and afterwards you should just abandon. Of course, you're feeling great, because Xerus is low, as we can see. Xerus, this is what we're talking about. It's pretty risky for him to dive. He's still pretty squishy. Vid and the turret bring him to half HP. Plus death stance actually bringing him even lower. Good dodge though, very good dodge on the ultimate. Now OPG has kind of overcommitted to killing Xerus and forgot about the fact that all the other champs are still super strong. As you can see, Sorn is just tanking 4 members in the front line while 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗏 and 𝗘𝘀𝗲𝗏 are clearing up the rest. So good coordination for EVOS. I like this play. They went a little bit overconfident, and Xerus maybe overcommitted a little bit, but still able to salvage the play with all their advantages.
Absolutely, they were. And it looks like EVOS, again, still not the biggest gold lead in the world, just about 5k, which at 21 minutes is actually 22 minutes, is still pretty huge, but not as big as you might expect. But at the moment, it does look like they have all the lead where it matters. OPG is struggling to find any way to fire back in fights. Maybe Vit can do some Ezreal magic. I think we're quite far away from that, unfortunately.
Absolutely. I think it has to come from PHT. He's approaching a third item. He's definitely a threat. He's definitely scary to play against. Even for Xerus, who's only sitting on 30 extra MR from his death stand. So PHT can definitely hurt him. He also built the Morelos for extra heal reduction. So Xerus is actually not going to heal much against him. If there's ever a 1v1, maybe that's where OPG can strike. I feel like Xerus probably still wins that at this point. More sustained damage compared to the Echo. If Echo gets a good stun off, maybe. But everything is now focused on Baron. OPG has lost their Dragon Snowball. Instead, now EVOS is actually threatening a 4 Mountain Dragon goal.
Have fun being Echo into that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too great. But I feel like Baron is the one objective EVOS needs, because they don't really have the greatest siege. They have a short-range ADC, they have a melee top laner, melee jungler, and a mage that doesn't really want to hit turrets, so they need the Baron to close out this game. Shouldn't be too hard. They have a very good setup. They can turn very easily with Xerus. They can secure very easily with 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗏. So now we can judge EVOS's improvements in terms of mid-game and in terms of objective control by looking at the Baron setup.
Bit gets pillared, but Arcane shifts, and OPG are looking to go forward here. They call it off when it doesn't quite work out. And no blood is spilled. But PHT doesn't want to keep it that way. He's going forward. He wants to try and find 𝗀. Has to tangle with 𝗁os, though, who's still 8-0. 𝗀 getting hunted. They're ignoring the pony for now. There's the Cyclone. 𝗀 very, very low. He goes down. A hook is landed onto PHT. There's the Superplex. B low. 𝗁os charging. As he's coming in, he's set them up, and 𝗃𝗃's knocked him down. He gets a triple. Vit and Zin are on the run, and it's the dynamic duo of 𝗁os and 𝗃𝗃 lighting up this rift, but now Vit throws out the true shot barrage. The health bars are low. The Ezreal is charging. 𝗃𝗃's on almost nothing, but 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗓 firing over the wall, and 𝗁os comes back from the base. He's charged in, and he's only got the set to find, and it's an ace. All of OPG lie dead.
It was surprisingly close, but in the end, EVOS's power still overwhelms OPG's good pick. Very nice attempt from OPG, and something we have seen from OPG again and again. They are very good at creating pick situations. They like to play single target CC champs. Not quite the case in this game, but still able to execute on one of the biggest strengths, which, of course, there's a jungler and there's no smite. Ooh. So I'll hold that thought. No, both junglers are now here.
𝗀 has smite. Stop.
Yeah, no, I didn't see 𝗀 approach.
It's all right. Here we go. DK, he might look for the steal. He's got flash. He has a blast cone. 𝗀,
don't run away.
Oh, 𝗁os looking to try and zone them up. They don't want to take the 50-50, and 𝗀 wins it. Redeems himself at least a little bit as he secures that smite over DK, and his team gets the purple buff.
And look at PHT. He just surrendered the game. He just teleported to bot lane to clear the wave. That is all you need to know. But let's look at this very good pick on 𝗀. They coordinate their CC well, and 𝗀 dies. They even almost get the kill on... that was very nicely done from Zin, getting 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗓 into the mix, but 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗓 jumps out with his 𝗪𝑎𝑙𝑖sta's kiting. And now... it all looks very bad for them because they are so far behind in items. Imagine this from an even gold point. They would actually win this team fight very hard, especially also because Vit plays an insane Ezreal here. It's all the Qs. Look at that accuracy. That would have hit as well. 𝗃𝗃 has to flash, and he steps a slight bit too close
that was
to the wall.
Huge by 𝗃𝗃.
Yeah, nice stun as well, of course. I feel like they would have died anyway with 𝗁os approaching. So in the end, it looked cool. In the end, it didn't really matter. And now we're looking at the Baron. This should just be the end of the game very shortly. And EVOS can now confirm that they know how to play from ahead.
Well, and look at their solo laners. We've had a lot of questions about these two because of how bad EVOS's start to the split has been. 𝗁os, 10-0-7. 𝗃𝗃, 8-2-8, and he might make this 11-0 as PHT's been found. He gets the shield, proto belts, but he does get away. 𝗁os just wants to the minions.
It's hard to chase down Echo. He also still had his chrono break available, of course.
𝗁os is out of there.
𝗁os needs to be careful.
He's out.
I like this play from 𝗁os. Very aggressive, and he always scouts with his movement as well. He knows where everyone is.
Oh, and he's just gone forward, and kaboom! Didn't even get to pull the trigger on the ult. Echo is sent back in time.
Perfect usage of the ultimate there. Of course, the fear prevents him from pressing R. So, nicely done from 𝗁os, really showing off with this super great performance on Hecarim. His first real carry performance this split, I'd say.
Yep.
Third game, EVOS will win.
They absolutely should win as they are sieging 2 lanes at the moment. The mid lane tower explodes. Can they keep this one going?
Yeah, they should be able to. The bot lane inhibitor will be cracked soon with all the minions approaching too. So this should be very easy. They have Trinity Force and the Kalista to shred this turret. So 2 inhibitors down. No one really cares about top lane in VCS in the last few games we've seen. But they could now just reset, go top lane, get all 3 inhibitors and play textbook style, or look for a pick and maybe push mid and bot lane in to win anyway. I would like to see them actually go for the top lane. I would like to see a little bit of cleanliness from EVOS's gameplay. That would be a nice, refreshing thing to see.
It would be very nice to see some clean play out of EVOS. But that said, we've had about 28 minutes of it, as so far they've made very few mistakes. There've been a couple things to pick up on, but overall, this has been a very good performance from EVOS, particularly their solo lanes. But that said, 𝗘𝘀𝗽𝗓's not been bad. He's just not been the focal point.
I really like this approach to the draft in this game. Oh, and we have another clash of the solo laners.
Yep, the horse is on to Echo as he's trying to hunt him down, but he's just too fast.
So fast.
He's got the knife. He's outrunning the literal like horse just because he's quick. But now
insane.
he got greedy and went for a blue buff, and 𝗃𝗏 deleted him, but B apparently was the last tickle. As PHT dies.
Yeah, he deserved that one.
I mean, PHT is just, this is tilt play. This is tilt League of Legends. As
Absolutely
now, here they go. They're going to have a last chance fight. They've got all the knockups. There's 𝗃𝗃𝗍 getting killed for no trade back. Now they're going to hunt down. Vit is the target. 𝗃𝗏 is coming in. You pointed it out, and you're damn right. And here he goes. He's actually just ulting straight onto Vit, not across the 3 members, but he gets the Ezreal. One's traded back. DK's gone down as well. Xin goes gold. I don't think it's going to save him. And now it's just Vin fighting with Thorn and 𝗘𝗀𝗄𝗃, 𝗘𝗀𝗄𝗃, 𝗘𝗀𝗄𝗃. And there it is, the Rend to get the kill.
And that's it.
Yep.
30 minutes on the clock, exactly. So
EVOS will be taking game 1 over OPG. A dominant performance, particularly from the 2 solo laners, as PHT has a little bit of fun. But it is EVOS winning. And can they finally get a series under their belt?
It's the best start they could have ever hoped for. Looking super dominant here. Great performance from both solo laners, as you pointed out. Good matchups, especially for 𝗃𝗏. And I feel like the Syndra into Echo is fine as well, especially when it doesn't go super late. So that's good to see. I also really liked Swan's performance. The Trundle constantly invading, constantly using the pressure from the 2 solo lanes to get steal after steal after steal.
What did you think, Vinny? Welcome back.
Where's that 𝗃𝗏? Who's the new top laner?
Yeah, it's Unos.
Yeah.
Oh no, we came up with it last night. It's 𝗃𝗏𝗄𝗃.
𝗃𝗏𝗄𝗃.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showing up again.
So really, it was a very nice and clean early game from EVOS. They just basically camp for 𝗃𝗏, get him miles ahead. Good 2v. I mean, the bot lane clearly didn't need help because they got the 2v2 kill, double kill in the bot lane, and that would have gone unanswered if PSG didn't have teleport. And so with that, I think you're very happy. You're very happy if you're EVOS. You just won a game very cleanly and decisively without any Baron shenanigans happening.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, let's see if they can make it 2.
Only one chance for a steal.
You're definitely going to try and replicate the exact same thing.
I think Wukong
try and give 𝗃𝗏 a counter pick again.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. We'll have to find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out in about just over 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere, guys. Keep joining us here on VCS English. Once again, I've been everyday. With me has been my loyal analysts, Yulwei and Vinnie. We'll talk to you in about 5 minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere. See who takes game 2. Welcome back, everybody. We've got Game 2 of EVOS taking on OPG. It was a dominant performance in Game 1 from EVOS, but we did sort of expect it, even though they were lower on the standings. We did think they were going to be the stronger team today. Can they close it out in 2, or are we going to a 3rd? We forgot to pick an MVP, by the way, for Game 1.
Yeah,
We all agreed,
I think
right?
it was a foregone conclusion.
I think we just forgot to say it because it is Zeros. We normally pick before we go to break.
Once again.
Yep. Horsos. Well, we have to see, will Horsos play again, or will it actually be Zeros?
Can Horsos evolve in the next stage?
Into
Can be a
Rapidos.
consistent top laner for EVOS.
Yeah. Can we get more than just Horsos? Can he prove to really show up as Monkeyos or Crocodileos or I don't know. There are a lot of animals in top lane.
Yeah, I know. It's called solo queue.
Yeah.
Man, I'm a top laner.
True.
I'm bagging myself out here.
Those Ignite Garants, man. Those freaking Ignite Garants drive me crazy.
Goes Flash Darius. Every game.
That's what. Yeah, I that was enough to.
I haven't seen a Darius in ages.
Because you banned it every game.
Yes.
So do
yes.
I.
I banned Tryndamere personally because I can't stand that champion.
Yeah, fair enough, but let's see what champions they will pick up. I don't think we'll be seeing a Ghost Flash Darius or a Tryndamere, but we'll find out as we do have our second draft. Take it away, boys.
So we changed sides, so even easier to counterpick top lane. I would really like to see EVOS double down, counterpicking top lane. Vin is an easy matchup for Zeros. We just saw him dominate 13-0-8. So actually definitely helping his very bad KDA so far with that game. I would like to see them do that again, maybe with something like, let's say Wukong this time on red side.
Wukong or Gnar. If the matchup comes to that, yeah. I
don't want to see Fiora. Maybe a Camille. He's a very good Camille player. Something like that.
The the blue side Syndrome ban really does show that PHT cannot play that.
PHT has a very small champ pool, particularly of mid laners.
Yeah. Interesting, because he has actually played a lot of champions so far this split.
Yeah.
But his effective champion pool is not great, yeah.
So
he still wait for his Lucian, because his Lucian got buffed this patch, so he's actually decent in mid lane now. I think PHT is going to go there at some point.
That would be throwing down the gauntlet, but that does not seem correct, like a smart move. Neither does that. That seems better.
I don't mind Ash, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the Kha'Zix when I said that's not bad. Ash, Thresh, good bot lane. Thresh is it's a great pick away from Kalista because then you don't have that double back away.
Yeah, especially like that, because Kalista Thresh was ripping apart the enemy bot lane last game, so again we see the wrestler duo, so it's a good engaged composition so far for OPG. They need a little bit of backline still. I feel like a nice backline mage would be good, or you double down on dive and go echo again to dive into the backline. Prefer something like a control mage to follow it up, or another ADC. I actually think another ADC wouldn't be too bad in this composition. Very strong front backline composition.
If you can find some form of AP damage in there, 𝗘𝗀𝗄𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 the amount of time it takes to scale, you can just skip ahead
You
to your
have to.
Triforce.
No.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's necessary. I
So,
think
did
it's
you guys
objectively
know,
it's objectively more damage.
if we were talking about
But
tier,
it's-
do you know that the highest damage 3-item spike for Ashe is with Mana Burner?
It's always this item is broken.
Yeah, like, I'm
I
not
mean,
actually
everyone
joking.
should buy this item.
Tier Ashe
Yeah.
is a thing at the moment in solo queue.
I think tier is a thing
Oh,
on a lot of
God.
ADCs right now. It's the tier Draven, tier Twitch, tier Corki,
Jinx,
now
like,
tier S
do
as
you know
well.
Tier
Such
Jinx
a
is
strong
a
item.
thing.
Ooh,
Oh, interesting.
actually,
I haven't seen that.
tier Ashe or tier Jinx. Yeah, that makes sense. It
When
makes
do we get
rockets
tier
cost less.
𝗘𝗀𝗢𝗧? That's next level.
Let's not go too far your way. There is an Azir lock-in. 𝗘𝗃𝗍 going to the safe scaling. EVOS is... This is a very non-hype comp. They're really just sitting
I
back.
like this though. It gives them a lot of team fighting and oh no, please no. It gives them a lot of strong setup to go counter pick for Zeros in top lane, because you don't really have to adapt your composition too much with this. This is a very solid core, very solid team fight core. You don't really need a top laner that fits into the same style. You can basically go wherever you want. So I'm very interested to see where Zeros goes here.
And this was the champion that Vin picked up an MVP on with that Sylas. So I'm
Wukong into
interested to
Sylas.
see what he can do. I don't think that's the best option, but overall, it's not the most. I mean, there are impactful ults, of course, but it's still quite a low impact. As far as comps go, it's low impact for Sylas in terms of ults to steal, especially with the 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 lock-in.
Well, the 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 is if it had been the Wukong, I would have disagreed with you. But with the switch over to the 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻, yeah, this is not great for Sylas. There's not a huge amount for him to steal. Also, I think this is going to be PHT's Sylas, not Vin. I think Vin will be taking the 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻. I mean, 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 kind of beat Sylas pretty bad, so.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I guess that makes sense.
𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 also can actually dominate lane early on. 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 has very little tools to get on top of a 𝗘𝗃𝗍. He kind of turns it around once he has a few items and is a little bit tankier, so he doesn't get burst down by a 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 and then has more sustained damage. But the early laning phase doesn't really go too well for 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻, as it often does. He's not the greatest champ in the early game, so I want to see what happens in top lane. I think Vin has an opportunity here to beat Zeros.
Yeah, the fun part for 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 is if you can proc your passive before the shroud comes down, you just stand in the middle of it and it still does damage, and you're like, what you gonna do now?
Yeah,
but
after a few levels, after a few items, you definitely dominate the 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻. You don't even have to hit skill shots. You just stand on top of her. You have more stats. You have more base damage. Your Conqueror works better on you too. So
she also can't just be the ridiculously slippery champion she can be, because you can run all you want. The Death Realm has walls.
Yeah, you can limit the map size to about 10 feet, and yeah, you're kind of stuck after that.
Yeah. So, Vinny, prediction and last thoughts.
I think this may just be a 2-0 for EVOS. I really like their comp in pretty much across the board. If you took nameplates away, I would be very happy I would be happy with EVOS's comp just generally. And I think, yeah, we might just see more player skill checks leading into snowballs.
I'll have to find out. But now it's just you and me, Yulwei. I find myself agreeing. I think EVOS...
on that skin.
What's a cop?
What is he doing there?
It's a statue of 𝗀𝗀. He hates 𝗀𝗀. So he brings up a thing of 𝗀𝗀 and smashes it. 𝗀𝗀, 𝗀𝗀, and Anivia are the gods of the Freljord.
Okay. That makes sense. I was very confused what he was doing there. But back to your point, I definitely agree.
Controversy with this skin today. So Twitter controversy about this skin. Won't go into it. No. It happened. Continue.
It hurt for sure. So I agree with the base sentiment that EVOS's composition is very nicely put together. I actually don't like the 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 too much. I feel like it doesn't really add much. It doesn't really win match. I think you should have picked a harder counter pick into a 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻. Whatever. It's fine. I feel like this is now not Zeros' game to dominate. It's more about 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗍𝗻 and B, in my opinion. But overall, it's just a very solid team fight composition. And OPG's combo I actually don't mind. I feel like a good team can do a lot with these double assassin, very bruisery, skirmishy fight compositions. But I don't believe OPG is good enough to do that. So I'm not really basing my prediction on composition, more on teams that are playing.
Which is a very fair way to do it. I will say one flaw here, I think, with EVOS's comp is they don't have a lot of damage in the mid game. And these two teams like to fight in the mid game. So it's not a good time
to
to
gank in the bot lane.
We do, as 𝗀 is just chilling in the brush for now. He's not popped out. Wants to maybe try and see OPG go forward, but there's the flash play, the immediate exhaust and the pillar. I don't think even 𝗘𝗀𝗄𝗏 can get away from this one, but the face breaker is absolutely huge, forcing more flashes, but 𝗀 will bring the club down and secure first blood.
Another successful gank for 𝗀. This is now he has finally found a champion he's comfortable on. It took him 3 weeks, and he has finally arrived at 1. This is looking very good Trundle gameplay, and of course double slows, triple slows even, super effective against 𝗘𝗀𝗄𝗏.
Ooh, damage in the mid lane. VHT takes a lot. He takes a little bit more, but there's no more follow-up for 𝗘𝗀𝗏. I don't think the flash autos would have done it, and he put himself in 𝗘𝗀𝗍𝗏 danger at that point. I think not flashing was the
maybe. Okay. I thought double auto attack, flash double auto attack would have been enough. This is very aggressive.
He's going.
Wow, he wants to go for the kill.
No, he backed off. He's backed off.
PHT is playing on the edge today. Oh my, what is that? That was the most aggressive teleport I've ever seen.
I mean, I think the teleport was fine because it was just like, if you don't back off, I'll kill you. It forces 𝗘𝗏𝗏 to go back and use his TP. But the fact that he ran
it's
forward...
actually super dangerous. 𝗀 is there for the teleport. You're under turret. If you try to trade back, you're level 3 under turret. You instantly die. I think that teleport was super risky.
Fair point, actually. As here is 𝗀 getting the push in. Looks like I think they want to just move up to get top river control. They'll just walk together to get some vision.
Which they can't, because 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏 was taken by 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏.
Yep.
So good movement from
tried.
𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏. They tried.
Ooh,
Good synergy. And now PHT. Oh. I want to come back to one of the points you made about the mid-game damage. Azir actually deals a lot of damage on one item, especially with this full-on teamfight build with lethal tempo. So I feel like they don't struggle too much in that department. Ashe also one item power spike is decent. It's not the highest damage ever, but it actually can contribute quite a lot. So I feel like they don't really run into too much trouble. It's for sure not the highest mid-game damage ever. And comparing that to Akali one item and of course the bot lane from OPG also spiking hard, it's less, but I feel like it should be fine. Are they fine against 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏's gank though?
We'll have to find out.
With a very good positioning.
Yeah, but there is a ward in that second brush. They almost have to bait EVOS in. There's a face breaker. The lantern's already down. Gets control warded, but he's just placed it wrong. Okay. That's a thing.
Cute little try.
And you got to put
very low probability of success. I feel like this was a little bit too hard a force. 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏 still had flash available too, and they had a ward on Volibear, who also struggles to get close, especially against Thresh. Was almost looked a little bit like a tilt gank, but I guess nice try. Xin didn't use it in the summoner, so in the end, nothing really lost apart from 775 gold for the pink ward.
Yeah.
And instead, we have another counter gank for 𝗀, level 5. Oh, how did that hit?
The hook into the splay. They're going to try and turn around, but Xin will not be escaping. The teleports arrive. 𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏's low. He goes down to the ignite, and now it's all on DK and Vin at the front of the fight. They're throwing the shurikens. Can they get 𝗀? Not quite. Just the one.
That's not how you play a card. Oh my. That was the wrong direction on the ultimate there. Not the... yeah, that was teleport. He's going to lose... Is he going to lose a plating? He might even lose a plate for that. That is horrible news for Akali. He also used teleport and flash as well as ultimate. Let's look at this again. This grab is insane.
How did that hit?
That was insane. DK is here. And Vin even tries to flash to get the kill instead of the ignite. He really wanted this. Oh no. Very good exhaust for B. B played this flawlessly. I think from start to finish, what B did this play was absolutely insane. Great Thresh performance. We talked about Thresh stats before the series started. And once again showing us why Thresh has a very high win rate in this league.
Yes, he does. We have some fantastic Thresh players, and EVOS has a fantastic first dragon attempt as they do secure it. Sworn locks it down, puts up the pillar to make it harder for DK, but they want to keep going here. The chains don't hit, the shuffle does, and now the health bars on both sides dropping very, very quickly. Sworn goes down to the wall, and now the rest of EVOS looking for a way out. 𝗘𝗀𝗄𝗏 trying to get back to his lane, but here come all the boys. A slow forces a flash.
Yep, good flash for 𝗘𝗀𝗏 there to get away. Of course, using the cone, nicely positioned there. And in the end, it's only 1-for-1 trade. Still a win for EVOS, of course. They get the dragon. So now that dragon is out of the way, they can work on their dragon soul. It's a little bit later than usual. Also, 8-minute dragon is actually quite surprising because usually teams meet at 8 minutes at the Rift Herald. But both teams kind of reluctant to swap for that one. There's a lot of pushing power in the bot lane, so can give up some plating here and there. Once again, Vin.
Love going to the gold graph when set is in negative gold. Vin going forward gets a good trade there. 𝗃𝗏 does manage to get a slam back, but it's like OPG might get an uncontested herald here.
Good positioning, using the reset timings, also resetting or sending Xin to the top side while he's still on negative gold to secure an objective. Vin has tried a lot in this game, but hasn't succeeded a single bit, so it's a very, very sad 𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏 so far. He even tried to participate in the play and snag the kill on 𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏, but once again, didn't succeed. And now he's 20 CS down to 𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃. His strongest point in the 1v1 matchup is already over, so to get better. Also considering the first game performances for both players, Vin is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and we are beginning to see a little bit of the player diff that we thought we'd see out of EVOS with a whole lot more teams, but at least we're seeing it against OPG, who are, of course, one of our bottom teams. There is a gank brewing. Is it going to get checked by this Sentinel? Oh, no, it doesn't see them. There's the arrow straight onto set. Xin is in some trouble. He goes for the haymaker, but he's got a 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏, and she calls him on his cell phone.
Yeah, 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 is, of course, very nice to play with as support. You can do whatever you want. 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 can just call you out. There we go. That gank could have succeeded without 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 ult. Of course, if you hit 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏, you have a better chance. She has flash, so I definitely wanted to hit 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 there. But in the end, still a good attempt. They get more priority in the bot lane, and now DK is called to help his side of the bot lane trade. This might be a 3v3, and this should be dangerous for OPG if they opt into the 3v3, because Horn is super strong right now.
Yeah, it is still...
He's actually a little behind DK. Okay,
Ooh,
B, what are you doing?
Go. They've just charged forward. B was way too far forward. The hook doesn't land. He goes gold. Teleport coming though. Xin already low. There's the wall. The Emperor's Divide has divided OPG.
He stole Subjugate. What a useless ultimate in that fight. BHT arrived with teleport and then just pressed Trundle R. Nice. Yeah, but the fight is still continuing.
That it is. PHT should be able to zoop over the wall, but 𝗃𝗏 is here. Can he get a Death Realm down? He absolutely can. Vit, you can hip, you can hop all you like, but as I said it before, the Death Realm's got some very, very hard walls, as he should be going down momentarily. 𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 will actually get the kill. The Death Realm did end. 𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 has to kite back towards his team. EVOS is grouped up very, very tight. A haymaker goes across all of them, but DK's falling down. EVOS is hard winning this one. PHT trying to escape towards the tower, and I think they might let him, as there's a lot of low health bars here for EVOS. Can they get out? Will PHT let them? Oh, he's going forward. He goes for the flash into the E. He misses, and it's going to get punished as he just gets shot down. You allied with the wrong Queen of the Freljord, Silas.
PHT looks so tilted this game. It's Xin has overextended. He's not level 6 yet. And haymaker's gone. So, well.
I missed that entirely. I thought I had a chance to just have a sip of my coffee.
No time for that. As we look at the replay now, so now we get the chance. Zero's flashing over there and ulting Vid. Look at him. He doesn't land a single skill shot in this ult, by the way.
No, doesn't have to.
He actually hits the last one. Okay, fair enough. I was quite surprised that Zeros didn't go for the dive after this play happened, but of course, there's a lot of good AoE ult ability stacking for OPG to get at least one kill back. I feel like they can dive here. So they are both still on full HP with Zeros with his shield available.
Never like to dive Silas.
Yeah, and in the end, it works out because PhD overextends anyway. So, in hindsight, it looks better this way.
It does.
And now they're 2k gold up. The dragon is on the table.
It's getting.
Can they get this one?
Ranger's focus being used there for 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗏, shredding it down. There's the enchanted crystal arrow just to stop any engage. It's successful. Silas has the 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 ult, could take someone into the gulag. We'll find out if he does. He goes forward. 𝗀𝗏 is the target. He tries to go over to Agatha. Doesn't quite get in range. Vit is taking damage, but they're going to get the kill. Vin doing well. Zeros on the backside of the fight. Here with PhD. He wants to get onto Vit, and he gets him into the death realm there. PhD still looking for an entry into this fight. Really hasn't been able to do anything on this Silas. Zin going low, and now Zeros pops out of the death realm in the back of the fight. He gets two. Azir gets one. PhD gets one back, but I don't think it's going to matter. He's on the run. He manages to chain to a minion. Can he escape this? He's dealing a lot of damage. Could go for a turn kill on 𝗘𝗃𝗏 when he has his cooldowns, but 𝗘𝗃𝗏's not going to give him the chance. And there's a pillar, and there's a Zeros.
What an insane fight once again. We are really getting a lot of cool fights in the series, at least, even though we are basically only getting fights, so not a lot to analyze in terms of map movement. But immediately jump into the replay. There was a lot to replay. It's a very clean disengage after taking Dragon. Zeros is still pretty far away, and 𝗀𝗏, I'm not sure why he went there. He could have just followed his team. They all funnel into a choke point, OPG that is, and that's not a good start into 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗏. Look at all the damage 𝗘𝗃𝗏𝗏 can deal freely here. I didn't even pay attention to Vin. Vin gets a kill here, but what does he do for the rest of the fight?
Yeah.
It's everyone is jumping around. It's a bounce house. It's everyone is jumping left, right, and center. Now Zeros from behind with a lot of AoE damage, of course. Vin kind of doesn't do anything, sadly, for him.
And
PhD at least collects one kill.
Yeah, he only could do something because he stole the 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 ult there. He absolutely would have been stopped by the rest of EVS otherwise. So it's a consolation kill. It feels bad, but for 𝗘𝗃𝗏𝗏, but a strong.
And the best feeling for 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻. We finally catch up. Oh, no time for that. We have another fight. Of course, we have another fight. Herald is started by OPG.
Yeah, I think EVS is backing off for now. Will 𝗀𝗏 have another bite? This is just a Shirley. You don't really need to fight over it. They just give it up. Oh, wait, what happened? Where'd it go? Oh, it got picked up. Sorry, I completely missed him picking the eye up. I was very confused over something that was not confusing at all. Ignore me. Why I play by play.
This happens. What do you think of this 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 build? Do you think that's an adaptation just to deal with all the squishy champion, with all the
mobile champion?
Champions?
It's an adaptation to the mobility. I like it. I think it's correct. You want to be able, so as this tower falls, see if there's a fight. But no, basically what you want to be able to do is Death Realm Kalista and then Proto Belt to get straight on top of her. Because once you're on top of her, she can hop all she wants. You're still auto-attacking her, and you're still going to bonk her with your Nashes. So I think it's a very good adaptation to the build.
Makes a lot of sense to me. I would also like to see Rylai's. I think that's when you get on top of Kalista, slow her down. I think would be a very good build.
Yeah, I think you have to go Rylai's third. He might want to go. He might make the call to go Liandry's because it is more damage. But I think the slow is ridiculously valuable.
I actually think Rylai's is better here.
I agree. But Liandry's is so good on 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻 that sometimes you just build it even though Rylai's is better.
Yeah.
Because it is really good on 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗻. But yes, I 100% agree. Liandry's is the worse call than Rylai's in this game. You go Liandry's fourth, but I don't think he's building a fourth item.
It's not looking likely. Once again, surprisingly small gold lead, considering we are 8 kills ahead on EVOS' side. A 2.5k gold lead. And this is because EVOS is not playing the objective game, apart from a few dragons. not really focusing on getting turrets. Wow, Son, you are a hero.
Wow, what a team player. But now he's been punished for his generosity. He goes gold, teleport called. There's a suplex being used. I don't think that's the direction Xin really wanted to take him, as Xin just goes down for absolutely nothing. DK now jumping out. Does manage it.
A cool ability here for DK. Jumping over that giant pillar. He's quite...
He's got legs. He's got the leap, for sure.
Sadly, that's the only thing Volibear does in this game once again. The Volibear jungle has really failed to do anything in a lot of the games here. I'm still not convinced by it. I know it has a lot of power early game, but every time he gets out of early game behind, he's so utterly useless. Yeah, it's a very snowbally, very coin flippy champion, it seems like.
Yeah, I feel like Volibear is almost a win more champion. If your team's ahead, he shines, but otherwise not so much.
This is important. EVS has
Drake,
completely messed up this positioning.
Yeah. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the dragon goes to OPG.
Wow. The vision line here. OPG, once again, they are a very good vision team. They are well coached. All the players seem to be a little bit worse than all the counterparts when it comes to individual ability, but their team play overall and their ability to strike around objectives, especially around Dragon, is quite good. So once again, we see them focusing on vision control on Dragon, and they stop the Dragon Snowball from EVOS. Very important Dragon to collect, and EVOS looking a little bit too solo QE in this game. Very strong, of course, individually, but the team coordination could use some work.
Yeah, it could. But still, it is a positive improvement here for EVOS. They have performed way, way, way better today than they have been for the rest of the split. And yes, it's only against OPG, but it's good enough. And Zeros having a bit of fun, and he's finally going to walk out onto PHT. PHT's taken an interesting route here. Zeros could just ult him, but doesn't really want to. Okay. Oh, as 𝗘𝗀𝗏 and Vin up in the top side. 𝗘𝗏𝗏 has to flash away. This should be an easy kill.
Oh.
And Vin's gone for the outplay and succeeded. Sorn now arriving. 𝗘𝗏𝗏, of course, doesn't have any of her cooldowns available. And with a hook landing, this one's pretty easy as they surf in and 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗏 takes the kill.
Spoon feed it over to the Ashe. Ashe
Here comes
pressed one ability there and got the.
That was very much. Here comes the airplane. Here you go. And there's an enchanted crystal arrow now. Sorn is charging forward. Can they get away onto this Kalista? We'll have to find out. She flashes. Now they're going to keep going up. She cleanses. They're going to keep going. And there it is. The kill on Kalista has come in. Zeros finds that one. PHT lurking in a bush. Does have a Mordekaiser ult to use, but he does absolutely nothing. And PHT, check his back, because I don't think he's oriented right. He's tilted.
Absolutely is. Can you also please stop with the Mordekaiser ult steals? There's so many nice ultimates in the enemy team. Like Ashe, hello? You could use Ashe to disengage or try to disengage. Better the box, of course. I really don't understand why he's always stealing Mordekaiser ultimate. I mean, now it can come in handy.
Yep, and DK has to jump away. Vin is lurking. Zeros here could choose to use... his ultimate's not up. As PHT trying to dash away. Zeros now turning around, the big lumbering boy. And now he goes forward onto 𝗘𝗃𝗏𝗏. Can he get him into the death realm? I assume he's actually already in there, but now he pops out in the middle of the enemy team. So PHT only goes 1-for-1. The wall comes up, blocking access to the river. Anything more?
I feel like 𝗘𝗃𝗏𝗏 has to build QSS now, because Mordekaiser's ult is only used against him from PHT, so once he builds the QSS, he should be fine. A little bit annoying for 𝗘𝗃𝗏𝗏 to deal with. He really can't do anything in the Mordekaiser ult against PHT. He can hope for Zeros to follow him, because I think you can follow into the death realm, right? So
yeah. If you can have 2v2s in the death realm, it's very silly.
QSS is built now, if you look at the itemization. So he has recognized that that's the only way how he dies. So
the death realm
good adaptation and build path.
The death realm with Silas is actually really weird, because it's just a bit off topic, but it's a fun little thing. If you are laning as Silas against Mordekaiser, don't steal his ult until he ults you, because you steal his ult him, and you steal 10% of his stats, which include the stolen stats from you for some reason, even though it really shouldn't. So you actually smash him in the double death realm.
Oh, man.
It's very
Silas
silly.
is such a weird champion,
He
man.
is. I love it. There is the death realm, PHT. I don't think he'll be able to steal it back, so this is actually just going to be 𝗲𝗏 walking him down, hitting him with the bonk, and there's the death grasp. Living up to its name. PHT goes down.
And 𝗲𝗏 is sitting on 3k gold, so even though he's 705 or 605 before the fight, it was actually not too ill-advised for PHT to fight there, looking at the items. In the end, 𝗲𝗏 is still stronger, especially because PHT didn't have his ultimate available.
I think it's very ill-advised to fight a 𝗘𝗀𝗽𝗏 as Silas unless you can also steal the death realm.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It looked closer than I expected it to look, but now OPG can try to steal this one away. 𝗲𝗏's, EVS, not 𝗲𝗏's. Vin.
He's in the smoke. They haven't quite found him. He's whirling that kunai. Charging forward. They found a good flank here. They're trying to get onto 𝗘𝗀𝗄𝗽. DK might have overcommitted for the ADC, though, as he just goes down, doing absolutely nothing. Into the 𝗘𝗀𝗏 ult. Does goes in. And, ooh, the big shuffles come in. There's a lot of walls. There's a lot of soldiers. But it's going to be a whole lot of EVOS as we come out of that one. Double kill for 𝗲𝗏. 4 kills for EVOS.
And now they can finally get the Baron. I wanted to, before the fight started, I just wanted to say EVOS has had their fair share of problems with the Baron secures, so it's good for them that they've actually found a fight and now don't have to worry about anything like a smite steal. This will be a very free, uncontested Baron. Oh yeah, Haymaker. That's a big thing as well, especially from the support position.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but you say you have your sarcasm, but.
I mean, yeah, it's true, sadly.
It was just last night.
This 𝗘𝗏𝗏 can't do anything. It's so sad. It's not 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, so she loses 50% of her damage.
DK
Look
as well,
at Vin here.
absolutely nothing.
What does he try to do? Yeah, I mean, he is so useless at this point. 𝗘𝗏𝗏 really tries her best, but yeah. Just doesn't have the damage to do anything. Everyone kind of ignores her in the fight. She just jumps around left, right. Everyone's like, okay, that annoying fly. We just don't want to deal with that.
Here we go. A dragon has been started up. OPG currently has full control of the pit. And 𝗀𝗏 redeems himself even more as he steals that Drake away and puts EVOS on soul point.
OPG is desperate for a fight. They are 5v4 here, and they still couldn't find the engage. 𝗲𝗏's pushing in the top wave. He also already erased one turret, so he's now working on the second one. It's very hard to stop him because he has Death Realm, of course.
On Vin. He's 3 levels up on Vin. That is tragic. Gotta say, Vin...
And then you don't want to fight this one.
Vin had one good performance, but he's not been particularly impressive since. Mid lane really falls. Not. OPG, what's it gonna be? You gotta do something at some point. You've still got all your inhibs. Do you fight now, or do you roll over and die? As in goes 𝗲𝗏, charging forward. Hasn't gone into the death realm yet. Can still access that. Mid inhib falls. Top inhib will be following soon. Channeling recalls, but I feel like EVOS will just try and pressure to end the game here. Oh no, they just back off. Alright.
Seems like they don't want to. Reset into bot push. They still have 1 minute on Baron, which shouldn't really be enough to push on the bot lane as well. The enemy team has kind of bad wave clears, so you might actually not rely on Baron to break the next inhibitor. Think like you can just wait for your top and mid wave to crash and then use the time without Baron to get the third inhibitor. That shouldn't be a big problem. So I like the movement from PHT here. He went bot lane immediately when he recognized his team couldn't fight and there was no way to fight there. So instead of trying to go for a Hail Mary engage and just lose the game at the spot, he went to push out the bot lane, which now hurts EVOS because they have to invest a little bit more time to push it back. I like this movement a lot. So, should still result in a very easy kill, very easy inhibitor in the end.
Yeah, I want to just quickly take the time to praise 𝗲𝗏. We did say he wouldn't build a 4th item because the game would be over. And also he should go Rylai's, but he has actually changed what he's doing in the game. He's not team fighting. So I don't think he needs a Rylai's. He's primarily against PHT as DK gets away. So going the Morellos actually makes a lot of sense. You just need the damage against the Siles. Yep. You don't need the slow. I think this is really smart by Zeros, but I just wanted to point it out for why he's done it. It's because he's not team fighting anymore. Had he still been going to the 5v5s, I think Rylai's would have been the go. But if you're never seeing Vit, you don't need to slow him. He's also 5 levels ahead of Vit, so did he need any items?
Morelos is actually very good into all the champs. All of them rely on healing.
But the hook doesn't. The Death Grasp as well. And the Koala Bear goes down. But into the back line has gone PHT. Parquet knocks him back with the wall. Can he kill him in the Death Realm? That would be an absolute disaster. And now it's a double kill for the Ashe. Can we see a triple? We get one back for the 𝗘𝗃𝗲𝗏. 𝗧𝗃𝗍𝗫 in the front line finally goes down. But only Vit lives. Triple kill for 𝗘𝗀𝗄𝗽𝗏. And I believe it's finally happened. As the turrets begin to fall, Vit has it all to do. He has to keep the game alive. But he can't kill the minions. The turrets are going down. He's charging forward. And there's a flay. There's a kill. And EVOS faithful, we heard your cries. We heard your flame. And your team has finally delivered as they'll clean up DK. And they will siege onto the Nexus. And EVOS will bring themselves their first series win. Signs of life have been detected.
Finally here, Evo is finally delivering a performance everyone was craving, everyone was waiting for. This is what Evo was supposed to look like from the start against every team. Domination in solo lanes, domination in bot lane, fight heavy team playstyle with a lot of proficiency when it comes to the team fights. Just gameplay, very, very fight focused and 29 kills in the end. Impressive 2-0 over OPG and EVOS is back.
They are back. So we need to pick an MVP for Game 2. Also, welcome back, Vinny. What's your take?
Yeah.
While we think about our MVP.
Well, yes, EVOS is on the board. Now, of course, this comes with a massive caveat that it's OPG, and OPG isn't good.
Let them ride it for now. Let them have it.
But from what we've seen, that's good enough for EVOS. So I'm not... So, but yeah, it's a case of I'm not 100% ready to say they're back yet. I will have to see another series out of them.
Signs of life.
But it's good signs. It is very good signs. It was for the most part very clean, which is a really good sign that it's better than it just a win. So I'm happy with Evil's performance. This is more or less what we expected, but yeah.
I agree. So, MVP for Game 2, lads. Wasn't Zeros again? 𝗘𝗀𝗽𝗏 was pretty big. Him, maybe 𝗀𝗏. 𝗀𝗏's Trundle was good.
I think
𝗘𝗀𝗏𝗏 even.
I think 𝗀𝗏.
I'll leave it up to you guys.
I think 𝗀𝗏. I would say
𝗀𝗏 played a very good game, but in the end he was the utility.
I mean, that's partially the champion.
It's Trundle.
Yeah, but it's also the champion is also.
Come on, you can do it. What's it gonna be?
I think it was.
Okay, if you want to give it to 𝗀𝗏, we can give it to 𝗀𝗏.
All right, 𝗀𝗏 will get MVP for Game 2, but the player of the series was pretty hard to dispute. It is, of course, going to be Zeros, who had 2 amazing performances. The man's back. He's climbed his way out of the sink. We love it. And, I mean, if he is back, we can finally say why we thought EVOS was going to be so good this split. Because up until now, they haven't shown it. But it's only OPG today. Cerberus tomorrow. Who knows? Find out.
Shout out to the bot lane as well, though. Yeah. They played a very good series. I was super impressed with B's Thresh in this game. Kind of... doesn't get the credit for the late game, because in the late game other members just deal more damage, right? And he's more there for the lanterns to get his carries out. But his early game, his laning phase, insane. B really impressed me.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think all the members of EVOS had a very good series, and that's good to see. But that will bring us to the end of our first series tonight. EVOS take their first win. They're on the board, lads. They are pulling ahead of OPG. Very good job by them. Peng, you can finally make a victory graphic, mate. You finally can. You can do what you were hired for. We love you, man. We will be back in a little bit for the second series of the night. Should be another fun one, as it is Team Secret taking on the Saigon Buffalo. Buffalo have been up and down, and Secret have been a whole lot of up. But we'll talk more about that in about 20-30 minutes. There'll be a timer on screen. The stream will turn off for a little bit, but it'll come back right quick, don't you worry. Thank you for tuning in to VCS English. Go down below the stream, join our Discord, donate if you can. We'll see you guys in just a little bit.